I wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed on where we're at and what we're doing. We have a very interesting and very infamous location for you guys today. You know how some of our stories are, you know, well, legends and locations, right? So it could be an old legend or, you know, just about anything. I am just outside, we are just outside of Elkhorn City, Kentucky. And we're at a little place it's called Pool Point. Is right up there. I don't know how well y'all can see this. We started to shoot from up there, but from up there you can't see anything for the leaves, you know, on the trees. But I figured from down here you might get a little bit better idea of what we're talking about anyway. Now if you'll look, you can see right there where the tree line, right, where you can see through the trees just a little bit of daylight. I mean, it's a spectacularly beautiful, beautiful place. A lot of rafting, a lot of fishing. You can see where people have been fishing here. A lot of people, I'm sure, have had a wonderful day right here. Now, there's also a really famous, you know, it's a swimming hole right there just around the bend. This is how you get to it right here. You know, you kind of come in, take a little raft or inner tube or whatever, and go down there and swim. People jump off the bridge. I've seen a lot of people, you know, there's a train bridge goes across the river.
Somebody do a countdown for him. He's nervous. Be careful, man. You need him more messing with Mark. Just pull him off. You're gonna need him more messing with Mark.
I don't think you've got the balls to do it.
That's so hot on him. What are you doing, buddy? That's so hot on him.
Oh no.
There you go.
Oh
shit!
that
hurt like hell. That burned him a little bit.
River. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, jumping off the bridge into the water. But the story we had to tell you about is one involving that hillside up there and that road that goes around right up through there. It comes around up this way and then hooks really sharp and goes around that point and back up the other way, right into Elkhorn City. Now, before we go on, I have a hypothetical situation for you guys. Now, I'm going to have to ask you to use your imagination on this one just a little bit, okay? Now, imagine it is just after midnight on a chilly spring night. You're driving along a dark mountain road, you and a few of your friends, talking, maybe laughing or listening to the radio. There's no lights on except for the headlights of the car you're in. Unless you're the driver, you have zero control over what happens next. Now, imagine your fun night out suddenly turns into something straight out of your worst nightmares. All of a sudden, the car veers off the road, hits a tree, and you find yourself falling off of a 300-foot cliff. This can't be happening, can it? It takes about 4.5 seconds to fall that far, so you can tell that your vehicle isn't touching the ground anymore. Gravity itself seems to abandon you as on the way down as the disorientation sets in. And I would imagine that it's a lot like one of those dreams. Have you ever had that dream where you're falling and just all of a sudden, you know, somehow you just startle yourself and you startle yourself awake? Well, this is kind of like that, but unfortunately this time it's not a dream. And after a few seconds, it's over. You've plunged 300 feet and landed on a rocky bank down here by the river. The car, it lands half submerged in the water, demolished. This hypothetical scenario really happened to 4 men on April 1st in 1938, almost 100 years ago now. The crash was so loud that a nearby farmer claimed to have heard it but didn't know what it was. 2 of the men's watches stopped precisely at 12:30 a.m. No one had seatbelts on because it's 1938, and realistically speaking, it wouldn't have helped if they did. You know, even if they did have seatbelts on, a fall like that, I did the math on this, it's about 4.5 seconds. So that's basically 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So you've got all of that time to realize what's going on. And I'm sure, like I said, there's a lot of people who've had wonderful memories here and caught spectacular fish and got married, for all I know, and all sorts of wonderful things that have happened here. But there is a darker side to, you know, there's a much darker side here as well.
So this little area right here is where a lot of people swim. I mean, you can see why. It's got a nice little sandy embankment. It's got picnic tables up here a little bit. And it's very inviting, but the problem is it's got a really strong current out there, right here. They actually do White River rafting in this area. So like a lot of things in nature, it's beautiful, but it's also dangerous. So here's the newspaper article I'm going to read you. Four die in 300-foot plunge. Automobile with victims' bodies was submerged in river. Pike County News. Pike County, where 24 persons met death in automobile mishaps during 1937, suffered her first fatal motor accident of 1938 early Friday morning when 4 men rode to their deaths in the only vehicle figuring in the initial tragedy of the year. The 4 were killed instantly as the automobile in which they were riding crashed over at a spot known as Pool Point in the breaks of Big Sandy, 3 miles above Elkhorn City, and dropped 300 feet to a rocky bed of the stream, partly submerging the car and badly mangling the bodies of the victims. The dead are William Bill Cook, 44 years old, of Pikeville, electrician for the coal company at Dunleary; Kennis Elwick, 46 years old, of Elkhorn City, bookkeeper and part owner of the Elswick coal company there; Tom Baker, 32 years old, farmer of Beaver Creek near Elkhorn City; Range Potter, 23 years old, of Marrowbone Creek, a miner. The 4 were returning from the direction of the Virginia-Kentucky line when the car, owned and believed to have been driven by Cook, plunged off the road, knocked down a tree, and dropped into a riverbed 300 feet over a perpendicular cliff, coming to a rest partly submerged. The time of the crash has been placed at about 12:30 a.m. Friday, as the watches carried by 2 of the men stopped near this hour, and the crash was heard by a farmer in the neighborhood at approximately this time. Although the death plunge took place near midnight, the tragedy did not become known until more than 12 hours later, and it was late Friday afternoon before the bodies were transferred to Pikeville for preparation for burial. At 9 o'clock Friday morning, Jess Epling and Columbus Spears, residents of Virginia, noticed automobile tracks leading over the hill at Pool Point and found the car after a brief investigation. The hill at this point is almost perpendicular, and the machine could not be reached from the roadside of the river. These men notified Worley Potter, a farmer, who made the gruesome discovery as he rowed a boat across the river to the machine at 1 o'clock Friday afternoon.
You know, that's the thing about beautiful nature scenes there. You know, a volcano is beautiful, but it's extremely dangerous. And I suppose places like this, there's a really steep curve up there. Anyway, we're going to head on up here, and we've got another stop or two to make. A few other things, but we just wanted to make sure that we stopped by Pool Point here. And that's it, right directly in the center of your screen. The road comes out. Like I said, the road comes out here and loops and goes back around. And right here is where all the accidents have happened. It's sort of you've heard the phrase dead man's curve. This is a really good example.
The men laid in the cold ravine for about 12 hours until they were found. So all the men were buried, but no one has a find a grave location, and just a general area of burial is on the death certificate. Most of them say Praise, Kentucky, except for Rand's, who says Rock House. Now, Praise, I found out, is what they used to call this area in Elkhorn City. So Kennis Elswick is the one we're going to try to locate today, because we think that he's buried with his family in Elkhorn City. Now, Elkhorn City used to be called the William Ramey Cemetery, who is the founder of Elkhorn City. So Elkhorn Cemetery is not far from here, and maybe we'll get lucky, but it's a huge cemetery, so we're definitely going to need some luck. Now, Kennis was a 45-year-old bookkeeper and partial mine owner. He was born September 2nd, 1892. He was the son of Melissa Ramey Elswick and John Elswick. He was married to Tori Ratliff, and they had 4 children, including an adopted daughter named Betty Jo. Now, after Kennis passed away, his wife remarried, but she's also buried at this same cemetery as well, and so is the rest of his family for the most part. Now, of course, his family is located in Plot A, which is at the very top hill in the cemetery. But that makes sense. So it's going to be the hardest spot to get to, but we will get to it, and we're going to head there now. You ready to go?
Ready. Okay, now this is the top of Pool Point. Like I said, the road comes up this way, comes down and around, and I was right over here down this hill a little while ago, straight off of this point. This mountain back in the day, I'm sure that there was no guardrail like there is now. And right there, 1/4 mile, that's where I was just at, down at the bottom. But just look at this. I want to show you this one spot. I looked at this earlier. I mean, it's just broken off and just straight down. But I mean, just imagine that, someone else is driving and you're completely at their mercy. See the river way down through there, and you're just completely at this person's mercy, when they're driving, and they literally go right off the hillside with you. Look at that.
I didn't take a picture.
These are all over town, these elk, and they're all different. This one is the Patriot Elk. How cool is that? The flags and different things, and then God We Trust, and soldiers, MIA, POW, MIA, soldiers from various wars. Look at that. Old enlistment, coal miners going to enlist. And there's a Patriot Elk.
Did you see the Bill Wright?
Yeah, I did, on the bottom of it. That's cool, isn't it? Beautiful spot too, just outside town. It's town right over there. Okay, so this is the Elkhorn City Cemetery here in Elkhorn City, Kentucky. Pretty place, isn't it? Very pretty house. But right here is the site that we were looking for. And we're headed up, wouldn't you know it, it's up a bunch of stairs and up the top of a hill. Wouldn't you know that one?
Yeah.
That's always a guarantee.
Good for us.
Whatever I'm looking for, it's always going to be at the top of the hill.
It keeps us young.
But it should be all the way up at the top, section A, right?
Right. Quad A.
Okay.
Very top of the cemetery.
Let's get to mountain goating. As most of my viewers know, stairs are my nemesis. The hill, piece of cake. Stairs, My knees do not like stairs. This stuff here though, hillsides, no problem. I have no clue what the difference is. All right, let's see. Top of the hill, section A. Let me go around that one. Let's look at that. Beautiful day. Very steep hill. Older section apparently. Okay, now this should be the older section, I'm thinking. And I see an Elswick right over here. But check this out. Something I saw as I was coming by. Look at that. Indentured servants and slaves of the Ramey family. Now, there's a whole bunch of really old graves here. Memory of Mary Marie, daughter of Kennis and Tori Elswick. This is his daughter. Wow. It's a lamb too, so I'm guessing she died young. 1918, 1922, yep. We're on the right track, oh, ain't we?
All right, this is his dad, John Elswick, April 15th, my birthday, 1863 to January 19th, 1920. A loved one from us has gone. A voice we love is stilled. A place is vacant in our home, which can never be filled. It's beautiful. And this is Kennis's mom, Melissa. Elswick. Nothing between me and heaven. And I believe that is his sister, Caroline Elswick. 1889 to 1980. This is 1870 and 1953. And I believe that's the sister because it says daughter right there. So that would be Melissa's daughter. So right here we have, that's John Elswick's footstone, which is a lot of room right there. They gave him a lot of space.
Found something right here. I was wondering if it might have been, a footstone.
This is definitely a grave, and it's right next to Mary Marie, daughter of Kennis and Tori Elswick, 1918 to 1922. So she's around 4 years old. So this very well could be Kennis right here.
That's what I'm thinking of here.
Because it would be next to his parents, right above his sister, his daughter, and whoever's down here.
Right. See, that one down there is marked. This one right there is not. So it's either that one or this one. I'm kind of with you. I'm thinking up here with the wife as well.
The mother, yeah. So his wife is buried here too, Tori, but she remarried, so he wouldn't be near her. But I would say, so this is what makes the most sense. So Kennis died in 1938. John, his dad, died in 1920. So his dad already had a grave here. and so did the baby, Mary Marie, right here. She had a grave here, and John had a grave here. So common sense would be 1938 to bury Kennis near, you know, on the family plot where everyone else is. He also has a grandmother up here named Maisie Elswick.
I saw it. It's right there. I know exactly where it's at. I saw it earlier.
So I'd put money on that this right here is Kennis. So either he had a headstone or a stone that disappeared, or I would say that's what it is. It's something that kind of degraded, because I don't see them just letting them not have anything. It just happens sometimes.
Kind of looking to see if there might have been initials, like on a footstone or something laying here, but nothing.
I mean, it's been a long time.
You want to check where Maisie's at, just to see if he might accident. I didn't see. Okay. I saw her right about, let's see, where was I? Thinking it's that one down there. There's a lot of Confederate graves in here. There's a lot of them. There. I think that was Maisie's right there. Ramey. Yeah. Right here. Sure is. Maisie Elswick right here. I thought so. Maisie Elswick, December 22nd, 1846, July 24, 1931. I would try to read that to you guys, but it's just got a lot of stuff all over it, and I don't think I could read it very well. But I didn't see any more. There's one we just happened to stumble across. There's several Confederate graves there. They're all over the place. This right here, Mary Ramey Potter, 1803 to 1874, daughter of William Ramey, wife of Richard Potter, and mother of 5 Confederate soldiers. Richard Potter was the founder of the brakes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, she's the son of William Ramey, who discovered Elkhorn City.
The son of William Ramey.
Hold on.
There, hang on.
I'll tell you guys, I'm a little out of breath. This
Yeah.
this hill.
Mountain goat in training.
I'm a mountain goat in training. I'm not up to his level yet. Anyways, Mary was the daughter of William Ramey, who discovered Elkhorn City, and the cemetery was originally named the William Ramey Cemetery. But she's also married to Richard Potter, who we did a video of, well, Leo did a while ago, up at the breaks, where they actually owned all that land. And we'll put a link in the description if you want to learn more about Richard and Mary. But their family and their family bloodlines, run through a lot of people in this area and beyond.
Look right beside of it.
Yeah, William Ramey Jr. right there. So it's pretty neat.
William Ramey in the back, 1782, 1865. Okay.
Anybody with that last name.
Right. There's a bunch of Rameys in here, that's for sure.
A lot of Potters here too.
Yeah. William Ramey right there. 1782 to 1865. And Anna Samlins, 1784 to 1856.
This is the oldest part of the cemetery, which you can tell by the names, the dates, and the headstones. Plus people got the good parts of the hill, which is the flat top part. As you go down the hill, these graves are on a serious slope.
Yeah.
So these people got the prime real estate as far as cemeteries go. I mean, look, it's beautiful. Look at the
scenery.
Perfect.
Beautiful view from up here. But look at this, Heather. Look over here. See, there's a Civil War. Kentucky Cavalry. William Ramey. Wow. Look at that.
Huh. Oh, so William and his family had slaves.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's where the slaves were buried.
It's messed up. They don't even get markers.
Yeah. You can see more Confederate flags too. Rebel flags there. There's one in the tree right there. But that's where the Elswicks are, right back here.
It is, I will say, it is unusual for enslaved people to be buried next to people that enslaved them. That's very, very unusual. I'm not saying it's, oh, whoopee-doo. I'm just saying it's unusual.
1886. Beautiful little town though, isn't it? This is pretty. I always did like Elkhorn City. I've always thought it was real pretty. There's a little stretch, has, you know, pretty little trees on both sides. I can remember when those trees were little bitty things when they set them out. Back in the, I think, 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Turkey.
All right, guys, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. You could spend days up here. It's so interesting. So much history, so many old graves, new graves too. I'll be updating, seeing what's missing on Find a Grave. I took a lot of pictures. My phone actually died. So that kind of ends my journey here. If I don't have a phone, I'm done. So I hope you enjoyed our story.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed the little day out with us, and pretty scenery and interesting sights to see.
Yeah, and even though it's a tragic story, you know, I hope you got to see some things that you enjoyed.
Made you think a little bit.
Yeah, life's short, you know. You never know. You just never know. You're just coming home, and it goes back to be careful who you drive with. In all seriousness, I'm super paranoid about who I drive with. It just takes, because it's out of your control at that point. You know, when someone else is driving, if you have a bad feeling or if they're doing something you don't feel safe about, don't go with them anymore, or simply get out of the car. You know, it could change your destiny or your future, I should say.
Well, Kennis, I mean, I'm sure if you could go back in time right now and ask him, hey, would you rather get out where you wrecked and walk home from there? I'm sure he'd choose that option. And
we're certainly not saying that it was the driver's fault, because we weren't there and we don't know. Just accidents happen. But sometimes you do have a choice, and sometimes you're driving with someone that you know has been drinking or is on pills, or you just feel uncomfortable with, but you don't want to say anything, you know. Just say something. Don't worry about looking bad. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much. We certainly appreciate you, and if you can check and make sure you're subscribed, because YouTube's still having that subscribe issue, and people are being unsubscribed daily, including us, from channels we watch. So
we were unsubscribed from our own channels.
Yeah, we weren't. But it makes a difference, you know. It makes a difference when your channel becomes stagnant and grows slowly because YouTube's unsubscribing people. You know, it hurts you. And
you're watching.
We don't need that.
You're watching subscribers rack up, but then you're watching them at the same time bleed away. Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll see you next time. And from Elkhorn City, Kentucky, near the Virginia state line, Hillbillies out.
Hillbillies out, guys. We'll see y'all next time.